Hello, Jordan.
What's up, Dad?
Can you see the spit up on my sweatshirt?
Yeah, of course I can.
Okay.
And I'm blind.
I just wanted to call that out because I realized it 2 minutes before this, and there wasn't time to get a new sweatshirt, so I'm just going to be gross, unfortunately.
You're not gross. It's you're a dad, bro.
So are you, Dad? I got a story. I got a story to lead this podcast.
Let's hear it.
You ready for this? A couple days ago, I'm downstairs right here at my desk, locked in on client updates, programs, emails. I got a few hour window where I'm really trying to crush it. Wife's got the baby upstairs. I'm deep in the zone. It's probably 5:30, 5:45 p.m. Hear the doorbell ring. I'm like, all right, hopefully that can just get handled. You know, we get a lot of random solicitors and things of that nature. My wife calls me immediately when the doorbell rang. I was like, okay, shoot. So I ran up there figuring something was going on with the baby, so I got to get the door. As I'm going up the stairs, I hear bang, 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 bang.
What the fuck?
7 big knocks on the door. Well, that's super obnoxious because this person rang the doorbell 11 seconds ago and now they did 7 big knocks. And so I continue, make my way to the door, and I peek to see what's going on out there. And it's this probably like early 20s dude in a collared shirt that says solar, you know, like a golf shirt.
Oh my gosh.
And we've got a few of these. You know, you get people selling different things in the neighborhood. But this guy's trying to sell me solar panels for my roof. And I'm feeling a little spicy. My wife's got the baby on the boob, like back on the couch. And, you know, it's just, I'm like, why is this guy here? Why is he knocking 7 times right after he rings the doorbell? I'm annoyed. And so I knock 7 times on my window.
And you knock back?
I knock back 7 times while I'm looking out the window. And then I just gave him like a little wave, like see ya, pal. Not interested. See ya.
Yeah.
And I bro, I walk back away from my front door. 7 more knocks.
Shut up.
Uh-huh.
Like legit 7, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 7.
7 knocks. I beeline it right back to the door. I open the door, the smallest crack. I'm like, I got an infant in here. I'm not interested, and like slam the door. Before I can even slam the door, this guy goes into his pitch.
Shut up.
He goes, no worries, and then just immediately like starts, and I can hear him as I'm shutting the door. He says no worries as I'm shutting the door and has already launched into his pitch. Like to overcome the obstacle or whatever these like young 20, whatever these like young 20 sales kids who are hard selling door-to-door learning. And so whatever, I just like lock the door, go away, hear him continuing to talk after the door has been shut. And then immediately went on Amazon, bought a no solicitor sign and put it up the next day. So
good.
Yeah.
Good. Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Are you going to put up a sign on the door, be like, hey, we got a baby inside, don't knock or like even ring the doorbell, like just text me or something?
No.
Okay.
Because honestly, like, I don't know, maybe there is an age where a doorbell would impact a kid. I don't think it actually impacts her that much. I was just pissed.
Is it illegal for solicitors to knock on your door if you have that sign? Is that illegal?
I grokked it. It is, it's state by state, and I think it's actually county by county within each state. There are various laws. I know that it is illegal for them to stay on your property after you ask them to leave if you have a no soliciting sign. But
Wouldn't that be illegal for them to stay on your property regardless? It's your property.
Yeah, I would imagine. But I don't think, because I think I grokked. I was literally like, if you have a no soliciting sign and someone knocks on your door, can you call the cops? Like, can you take legal action immediately? This is the mood I was in after. And it doesn't sound like you can, which is insane.
Then what's the point of the no soliciting sign? Just like so they can know ahead of time they're about to get reamed out?
I actually don't know. However, I know some people who have put up no soliciting signs and they seem to work. So
cool.
Yeah.
Where did you put it? Like right in front of your door?
I got a sticker that goes on the Ring like camera thing.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
as they're pushing the doorbell, like a centimeter away from their finger, it says no soliciting.
Got it. Nice.
We'll see.
Good. Hopefully that works.
Oh, I know. And that reminded me of the type of salesmanship that we see so many masterminds and gurus and sponsored posts. And bro, there's like 40 business mentorships now. Not a mastermind, not a whatever.
Oh,
They're
they
all
call them
mentorship.
mentorship?
They call them all mentorships. Everyone's got a mentorship now.
Wow, they stole it. They stole it right from under our fucking noses.
We didn't invent the word, obviously.
Oh, we invented it.
The word was around, but 2018, 2019, we launched, and these things were called academies, and they were called masterminds, and they had their own little lingo, and now they're all mentorships. And just tons of money into sponsored posts. I'm not going to call this woman out by name. We had a woman who joined the mentorship within the last couple of days who told us about a terrible experience on a sales call with one of our competitors, who I'm also not going to name, with an exorbitant price and the hard like used carsman type of sales tactics. Yeah,
$10,000 to join.
Yeah,
crazy.
And so we have a sale in the mentorship right now. It's $500 off. Jordan, tell them a little bit more about it.
Before I do that, I think it's an important lesson based on the type of sales. We had an amazing member, I believe it was Luke. Luke brought the question up in the mentorship, I think not this week, but last week. And he was like, how do you overcome certain objections?
Yeah.
And we had a great conversation around, we don't overcome, like we don't have a sales tactic to, I need to talk to my spouse. Oh, here's this objection. Here's how you overcome it. Oh, I need to think about the price. It's like all these sales mastermind gurus are going to try and give you these lines to overcome objections. And what we said to Luke, and Luke was like, Luke had the best response. He was like, I'm so glad to hear that. He's like, I'm so glad. And immediately, like I told Mike after the call, I was like, I like Luke a lot. Luke is a good dude.
Yeah. Yep.
Because immediately he was like, everyone keeps saying you have to have the ability to overcome all these objections. And what Mike and I spoke about was, listen, our job, number one, isn't to twist the knife. Our job, if they want to work with you, they're going to work with you. They are. Like, and you don't want to start off a relationship by manipulating someone into working with you, right? If they want to work with you, they're going to figure it out. Right? And maybe they won't do it in this moment. Maybe you don't get the sale today or this week or next month, but maybe in a year, 2 years, 3 years, they'll eventually come back to you because they'll have tried other people. It won't have worked. And then when they want to work with you, it's better. Like imagine trying to start a romantic relationship with someone by manipulating them into being with you. Like that won't work out well long-term. If you want a good long-term relationship, then it's going to happen when they're ready for it to happen. It's the same thing with sales. So if you're going to join the mentorship to hopefully find a list of like how to overcome the most common objections, you're already doing it wrong. Like that, you don't apply yet. You're not going to get into the mentorship. It's not about overcoming objections. It's about being a great coach, giving out great content, helping people for free, and that will eventually lead to getting organic clients, but also equally, if not more importantly, your current clients will get you referrals. Right, that because you're going to do such a great job that they're going to get referrals, and that's what's going to build a great business. So we don't have the objection model, how to overcome objections. We're not salespeople. We're coaches, and a great coach can learn sales. But if you're approaching this as a salesperson trying to be a coach, you're approaching the wrong way.
100%. Couldn't agree more. It's ineffective. It leads to a worse relationship with you and your client. It makes me feel gross in my gut, and so operating from that position, I have found extremely beneficial in business and life. And we have seen through my one-on-one coaching, through your one-on-one coaching over time, through countless people who've been in the mentorship, from peers in the industry, when you are client-focused and your sole and top priority is give the best client experience you can, help them make the best possible results, build actual relationships with your clients, you not only have less turnover, which helps in business because you don't always have to be, I'm doing a sale. I need 2 more clients, taking on 3 more clients, because you have longevity with each client. You feel better about it because you're doing what you got into this space for the majority of people, which is actually help people. Your clients see better progress. You become a better coach. Like the results or the benefits are infinite.
Completely agree. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah, that was a good question from Luke, and
it was a great question. And I think he probably knew the answer. He just like he needed the affirmation, like from us being like, "Hey, we don't do fucking objections." And he was like, "Oh, thank God."
Especially
like,
when
it feels so weird.
When every single like successful quote unquote business person in the industry has given you a different answer.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Like I would be questioning myself too. And it's not just the like online guru space. I gave the example of the salesperson in a commercial gym who, you go and do a tour or you do a free workout and they bring you in the office after and they're hard selling you on trying to join the gym, writing all these numbers on paper. They got you confused. They're like those weren't actually some of the worst experiences of my life, but those were uncomfortable and gross experiences trying to get manipulated into buying a 1-year package to a gym when all I wanted to do was test that gym out to see if I potentially wanted to join.
So yeah, mentorship's on sale. If you want to apply to join, we would love to review your application. We haven't accepted everybody. There've been a couple people who we've been like, it's not a good fit right now. This isn't like, the thing is, we want the group, because we do group calls every week. We want the group to feel good. We don't want poison in the group. We want everyone to have the same overarching goal of, number one, help people. There are many different groups. There are many different people in the group. Some people have one-on-one. Some people have more memberships. Some people do more nutrition. Some people do more training. Like there's all different types of coaches. Some coaches are on the younger side, 18, 19, 20. Some coaches are on the older side, 65, 70, 75. But like we have everything in between. But the main goal is let's just help our clients, number one. It's not like trying to figure out, be a 6-figure fucking bullshit mastermind guru. It's just, that's just not the feel.
High ticket.
High ticket. That's the term right now.
Maximize dollars, sell big packages up front, $1,000 a month fitness coaching. Like it's just gross.
So link to apply in the show notes.
Yeah. And I actually had it on my list to bring up that I don't know if like this might be a bad look for us. I don't know. You can tell me or the audience can decide, but I don't know if you feel this way. I feel like satisfaction or like happiness in rejecting people, if that makes sense. And I never do in life, but when someone fills out an application and they're like, don't really have a business. And I don't even want to give examples because I don't want people to feel bad, but I'm just going to say the truth. When they're like, I want to make $1 million next year, and they don't say anything about clients in their application, it's like, we're sorry, you're not a good fit. Like that doesn't mean we can't work together at some point in the future. But right now, what you want to accomplish is not on par with what we're doing here in the group, period, end of story.
Yeah. And over the next year, 2 years, 3 years, you'll probably go through some learning and experiences that will hopefully change the way that you're viewing it. But the way that you're currently viewing it it's not going to fit in the group. It's not going to be a good fit right now. So rather than trying to like just suck you in and take your money now, it's like, listen, let's just wait. Like if this is what your goal is, I think it's like with anything. If your client comes to you and says, hey, I want to lose 50 pounds as quickly as possible, like within the next week, will you, if I hire you right now, are you going to help me do that?
I'll give you $5,000, by the way.
Yeah. Hopefully, like you're not going to be like, yeah, let's do it. Hopefully, you're going to be like, you know what? I really don't think this is a good fit. I take a very different approach to this. If at a certain point, a different point in time, you're ready to and willing and able to do this more slowly and sustainably and do it the right way, then I'm your person. But for right now, it's not going to end well for either of us. That's literally that's how it is. That's exactly what we're doing in the mentorship when we say no to people.
And that's a win-win for the coach and the client. It's a win-win for us and the trainer who's applying, because that person's not going to be happy when they sign up for your services and realize you can't help them lose all this weight in a short period of time. You're definitely not going to be happy because what's going to happen is you're thinking, okay, I'll have them sign up because I need clients, I need money, etc. And then I can change their mind on the goals and like explain to them after the fact that, hey, progress isn't made this quickly. That needs to be like, you need to get on the same page with that person up front. And so, yeah, we're actually doing a service not only to the people who are currently in the group, but for ourselves. Like those are difficult because we've had a few over the year. They're difficult clients on the fitness side, and they're difficult coaches on the like business coaching side of things.
It's like when you're dating someone and you're like, you know that they're not a good fit for you, but like I can change them.
Yeah.
Like you just got this, like I could change them. I'll just stay with them, and because I can change them. I see the good person in them. I'm going to change them. And then next thing you know, 4 years goes by and they're abusing you. And you're like, why did I do that? This was a terrible idea.
Yeah. Yep. Good analogy.
Yeah, man.
What else, my brother? What else is on your mind?
I had some psychotic messages on Instagram that I sent you. You saw those?
Those were psychotic.
Those were crazy, right?
Those were psychotic.
Yeah. Yeah. I shared a brief clip, a brief little bit of it on Instagram, and I got reached out to by some people in the FBI they were like, this is number one hate crime.
You remember the first thing I said to you?
No. What did you say?
I was like, are you going to like call the cops / also get in touch with people at Facebook and Instagram and like figure out who this is and press charges? Like,
yeah. So I spoke to my lawyer, and so she was like, basically she was like, you should report it to your local police.
Hang on. I'm sorry to jump in like this, but since when do you have a lawyer?
Since I almost got got evicted at my rental. Remember that whole fucking debacle?
Yeah, I do.
That's when I called a lawyer, and now she's my lawyer, and she's a savage. She's like a pit bull.
You're big time.
I'm not big time. I've literally never even paid her for anything because she won't let me pay her yet because I just like consult, and then she's like, I haven't even done anything for you yet. So no.
Okay.
But she's a real pit bull. But she was like, call your local police. Obviously, the odds of this person living in your tiny town outside of Dallas is like next to nowhere. But call the police and just file it so we have a paper trail of this being a thing. And then so I did that, and then an investigator got on a call with me. They were like, yeah, this is pretty bad. This isn't something you just want to leave. Like, we just have to be aware of it. So the investigator was looking into it. I shared it on social media. I had this one guy who works with the FBI I think in South Carolina, and he was like, I'm going to connect you with some people in the Dallas area. But he was like, you need to report this just so there's a paper trail. So yeah, there's that.
Good. You reported it.
Yeah.
Look,
man.
My mind goes to like make this practical for the audience. Everyone wants to be famous. Everyone wants 1 million Instagram followers.
Fame. Yeah.
But like, there are downsides that come with this that are, I don't know.
I think it was just funny because I shared it, and the number of people who were like, "Oh my gosh, I had no idea that someone would send you something like that." It's like, oh, you guys, you just have no idea. There are crazy people out there.
Yeah.
You just have no idea. Like, that's why I keep my family's names private and stuff. Like,
yeah,
that's why. Like, because they're fucking crazy people, and they follow you, because they're crazy.
Yeah. I told you that there's a Tim Ferriss article. I forget the name of it, from like 10 plus years ago on this subject. That's really interesting. I'll have David link it in the show notes. But yeah, there's the law of large numbers, and like, the bigger the population size increases, the higher percentage chance of like someone who's psychotic, and the more psychotic that person is on average, the bigger the audience grows. And yeah, scary.
Yeah. So that's that. And I think that's it, bro. I don't think I have anything good for you.
All right. That's all right. I got a list. I just feel selfish because it's always just my list.
Dude, I love your list, though.
I want you to have a list, though. I want us both to have lists.
No, you don't want me to have a list.
Yes, I do.
This isn't the equity podcast, Michael. You've got the list. You've got the good list. We'll go with your list.
I want you... If you want Jordan to come with a few ideas, leave a 5-star review, and will you...
That's bad. That's terrible.
No, it's not, because I know they want your list, too. They want both of our lists.
They're
bored hearing Mike...
DM Michael. and Michael will go on his DMs.
No, honestly, my next thing on my list is about social media, and I'm not going to go on my DMs. So don't DM me. Leave a 5-star review, Spotify or Apple, and we're going to take that bump in ratings as a sign that Jordan needs to bring a list.
Or they could just be people giving a 5-star review because they love the podcast and it's irrelevant to wanting my list.
I'm going to average it out over time. If there's a disproportionate increase in 5-star reviews over the next month, then we're going to know that the people listen and they were like, yeah, we're a little sick of hearing Mike talk about Mike stuff. I mean, keep doing it, Mike, but like give us 30 to 40% Jordan stuff.
Keep doing it.
We need a little more Jordan stuff in here. All right?
Okay. All right.
The 5-star reviews are going to explode. So anyways, I guess I'll go to my boring list. We had the solicitor.
Social media.
So this starts with my nutrition has been up and down. And I would say on average over the last year, like definitely the last 6 months and like progressively worse, but definitely over the last year, the worst year I've had of nutrition since I was...
Freshman in college?
No. Oh, yeah. First semester college. But that was so much just beer and like, no, I want to say it's been worse than that. Yeah, maybe freshman in college. I was going to say since I was 13, like 8th grade. I haven't been tracking, and we know, you find this funny. Jordan takes pleasure in this. What a guy.
I love this.
What a guy.
I love this.
Basically the last 3 days, I just decided I'm done with this. I'm not going to, like, I don't feel good physically. I don't feel good mentally. I'm not as sharp. And I feel, I'm going to use this word loosely and not scientifically, but I feel addicted to processed foods and the pleasure that I get from them. And so I just, like, literally 3 days ago, I was like, okay, I've had enough of me. Like I looked myself in the mirror and I said, I'm done with you, buddy. No, but I really was like, I feel like crap. I don't want to feel like crap. And I didn't even say to myself, like, today I'm going to eat healthy. I was just like, all right, I'm just going to, like, my next meal was my focus. And I waited several hours until I was actually hungry. Like, I was really trying to pay attention. Do I just want to feel good, or do I feel hungry? And then I had one of my catered fit meals, which have been huge in this like first month of baby life. And then I waited a few more hours. I didn't have any snacks, didn't have anything, had another catered fit meal 3-4 hours later. Basically, I had 2 really good days. And then I decided I'm setting macros for myself in my app to put me in a deficit that were higher than I had eaten for those 2 days, but like, or probably a reasonable, at least a pound a week deficit. I set those and I followed them yesterday, and I've been following them so far today. But while during my workout just now, it got me thinking about the most common impulsive pleasures in our current day and age, and technological impulsive pleasure was number 1. So like scrolling or potentially video games could get lumped in there. 2, sexual impulsive pleasure. 3, food impulsive pleasure. And 4, drugs and alcohol impulsive pleasure seem to be I could be missing something, but seem to be the 4 biggest in our society. And I have struggled for a long time with technological impulsive pleasure with social media consumption.
Shopping.
Yeah, good one. Thank you. That's off my radar. But
I mean, it's not on my radar. I'm not a shopping addict.
No, neither of us are, but you're right. You're 100% right that's right in the mix. I've struggled for a long time with not video games, but social media. And somehow I added a vice, which is like just eating crap food to feel good for pleasure on and off over the last year. And I'm done with that. I'm done with that. So that's all there is to say.
Did you throw it out? Did you throw any food out?
No, because no, it's not mine. I don't want to get into it, but like Someone I live with has a better relationship with food than I do. And what I've realized...
And it's not my baby.
What I've realized is that the biggest thing that helped me over the years is creating a barrier, which is time and distance between myself and highly palatable, highly processed foods. And when they are in my vicinity, I'm way more likely to eat them. Period. End of story. I have found something that's really helped, and I'm giving you so many head nods on this. I hope you're enjoying it. Having an alternative, highly convenient, healthy option is massive in I'm going to avoid diving into the bag of Sun Chips because I have prepared food ready for me in the fridge. Like the difference between spending 20 or 30 minutes making myself something between 2 minutes in the microwave and I have this healthy 600 calorie meal right here ready to go, I think has really helped a lot, as well as just a level of disgust, not with my body, not with how I look. No. You find it funny, but it's true. Disgust with my character in making decisions purely to feel pleasure. Like doing that for a year, I hate that. I don't even want to identify with that part of me because I hate that. I find it truly, Jordan, I find it ungodly and like awful in myself. And so
You're done.
I'm going to do my very best to continue what I'm doing right now, but it's no good for anybody. Like, it's momentary mouthfeel neurotransmitter pleasure in exchange for longer term downside. And I'm sick of it.
That was one of the benefits of living in New York, where like if you wanted to go get ice cream, you had to take like 3,000 steps minimum just to go buy it. And you didn't have to have it in your apartment. Mm-hmm. But you're like, you know what? I'm going to go to Citarella. And like, it was a 3,000 to 5,000 step journey just to go get the ice cream. Mm-hmm. And yeah. Whereas now, if it's just in your house.
Yeah. Food environment is massive.
What's your favorite pre-prepped meal so far?
There are several that are very good. There was like
the buffalo chicken meatball things.
That one's coming next week. I haven't had it yet.
So good.
Is it? Wow.
Yeah, with like the yams. Oh my gosh, yeah, so good.
Yeah, their plantains and like sweet potatoes and variants of sweet potatoes are delicious. I think it was like a pork with onions and peppers, and I think it was like a pork, like shredded pork loin or something. There was some kind of beef.
You just rubbing that in my face because you knew that I wasn't going to eat the pork. No, yeah, you know the best one I've had is their pork. Actually,
I wasn't. I had a really good beef one yesterday. I mean, most of them are really solid. Like I would say 8 out of 10.
Their breakfasts aren't good, but their lunches and dinners are awesome.
Yeah, I don't order the breakfast anymore.
Yeah.
So that was on my list.
The buffalo chicken meatball is both of our favorites, mine and my wife's. It's our favorite. We'll get like
is
a
it
bunch
ground
of them.
Chicken?
I honestly don't know. It's like in the shape of a meatball.
It's a chicken meatball?
Yeah.
For some reason, deli chicken and chicken meatballs both always freaked me out.
Like sliced deli chicken?
Sliced as in, yeah, like, you would get a pound of deli meat turkey.
Yeah.
They do the same thing with chicken?
No, yeah, it's not that. It's not that.
All right, I have it coming literally tomorrow, so I'll try that.
Super good.
Good. I'm excited.
I grilled up. I've been really grilling a lot so far this summer, and so I've been getting much better with it. So we just grilled up like 12 salmon fillets.
Nice.
The other day, and just have that ready to go. It's
nice.
I like the grill. I like just the char that you get on it, and I like the smoky flavor that you get from it. So sort of ingredient prepping those things, whether it's salmon or steaks or chicken breasts or kebabs, has been super good for the last couple months.
Sounds outstanding.
Yeah.
Grill master. Let's go.
It's also fun because my toddler will come out and like we'll put music on in the patio and she'll just dance while I grill. It's awesome.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You You didn't have a lot to say about. You're just sick of me talking about impulsive pleasures here on this podcast.
Oh, sorry, dude.
No, it's okay. I mean, it's okay. If
I'm
you
not
are.
sick of it. I love talking about it. I don't want to. I don't know. I don't know where the line is between me giving advice versus just general thoughts. I mean, I don't know.
You don't have to have anything to say about it. Just
yeah, dude. I think you're gonna crush it.
No, not about. I know I'm gonna crush it. I'm talking about these ideas in abstract, not my application of the ideas.
Oh, just overall the idea of giving into these impulsive pleasures.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think anyone who listen, I put up a story the other day. Someone asked me, they're like, "What do you?" Because I put up those question boxes, like, "What do you like?" Ask me anything, and someone asked me a question, and I thought it was an interesting question. And they said, "What's a question that you think people should ask themselves more often?" And I said, "What behavior am I continuously repeating because it feels good or familiar, even if the end result is causing me more pain and damage?"
That's a banger, Jord.
And a lot of people were like, "Oh man, you really fucking slapped me in the face with that one." And I felt like a lot of people could relate to it, myself included. But you know, that end result being pain or damage is, I think, that disgust. I think that you can feel disgusted with yourself when you're doing something over and over and over again that you know you shouldn't be doing, but you just continuously do it over and over and over again. I feel like everyone can relate to that.
I know that everyone can relate to that.
Yeah.
And I think that there's, I think a lot of people who are smart socially would not use the word disgust because maybe it's too intense. But that is the emotion that I feel. It's the same thing, dude. We have had conversations about how working out consistently becomes more important as a parent, even though you are more stressed, you have less time, like things are more stacked against you than they were previously in terms of getting great workouts in, but it's actually more important that you maintain some kind of regimen when you're a parent. The feeling that I have about the part of myself that wants to just mail it in and not work out and not do anything is disgust, is like, yeah, I don't know any other way to say it. It's like hatred of sin.
My brain goes to this place of, and this isn't just in this context. I think about this a lot nowadays, in which there are so many issues that people bring up in societal issues, right? And my brain always goes like, man, this is such a privileged issue from the perspective of like, in so many other parts of the world where people are starving, there's war, there's like even not other parts of the world, but like even here 100 years ago and beyond, these weren't problems because we had real problems, like life or death style problems. And now people are worried about like offending someone, and offending someone is now akin to being, if you have the audacity to say something that might offend someone or might be a different opinion, well, now you're a racist, bigot, misogynist, fascist, neo-Nazi, whatever it is. And my brain goes to, man, these problems literally, they weren't a problem because there were so many other things that came first. And so my brain in this specific situation is like, yeah, you're having this issue, but I wonder if like these giving into impulsive desires, if people even think about them as much when there are so many other things that come before it. You know what I mean? Like when there's so many other, I don't even know if I'm making sense.
People couldn't indulge 100 years ago in these because they didn't have access to them.
Yeah, correct. It wasn't even a thing.
Yeah.
And they didn't have access to it. When they were going to eat, they had to go out and hunt on their own, or they were relying on someone else. And the food science wasn't there. I don't know. That's just where my brain goes.
The abundance wasn't there. I mean, for all of human history, starvation was a bigger problem than obesity.
Yeah.
And now in the West and potentially other parts of the world as well, that is no longer the case.
The driving issue. Yeah.
Like our biology hasn't changed as fast as our environment has changed, and which has presented us with these problems. But I think someone who is more eloquent might take like a more empathetic approach, and you need to be kind to that part of yourself that wants to give into these impulsive pleasures. I want to kill that part of myself. I'm serious, dude. I don't think there is. I think we have too much empathy for bad behavior. And again, I'm not casting judgment outwardly. I'm casting it to the worst parts of me. I think we have way too much lenience and empathy towards bad behavior.
Tolerance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Too much tolerance.
Yeah. Oh, let's just went somewhere. They're just minor attracted people, Jordan. All right? All right? That's how they were born. Okay? They can't help it. Like, no.
Dude, that's not a controversial thing to say.
I think it's on its way to being there. We'll see.
I think the question becomes, what's the best, and when I say the best, the most effective way to deal with these issues, right? So like if we're talking about food and not pedophiles, but if we're talking about like dealing with the issues with food, is it more effective to come from a place of empathy, or is it more effective to come from a place of I'm going to murder this part of me? That's where I feel like now where do we go?
Depends on the person.
What I mean?
Yeah. And look, there's a reason I'm only expressing these emotions at myself and not at others, because the coach part of me obviously has empathy and understanding for these struggles, because one, I've experienced them myself. Two, we have seen thousands of people go through this over decades. Like, yeah, there's a balance between empathy and but having empathy for yourself is a slippery slope, because it can turn into justifying all of your bad behavior.
Yeah, no, you're completely right.
Yeah.
Listen, there's a line between empathy and justification, right? And sort of like there's a line between being consistent or being I don't even know the exact terms I'm looking for here. There's a line between consistency and perfection, right? There's that line. You don't need to be perfect in order to be consistent. But there's also this line where it's like people think they're being consistent, or they think that they're being like a flexible dieter. Like, oh yeah, I'm being a flexible dieter. It's like, well, no, you aren't dieting at all. Yeah. Like you're just eating whatever you want. There's a line between flexible dieting and just mailing it in. And I think a lot of people are justifying mail it in by saying, well, nothing is off limits. Yeah, just because nothing is off limits doesn't mean that you have to fucking eat it all the time.
Right.
Like you can, just because you're allowed to eat it doesn't mean you need to eat it. Right. And just because you want to eat it doesn't mean you should be eating it.
Right.
Right. There's these lines. And I think too much empathy taken to the extreme can allow for over justification of just shitty habits, period.
Absolutely. Which could end up being your whole life.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Like if you don't make a pivot at some point,
you got to call yourself on your bullshit.
Yeah, that's a good way. That's a good relatable way to say it.
And I think, you got to be tough. Sometimes you got to show some tough love. And we talk about that in the mentorship. Like, all right, how do you do it as a coach? How do you have tough love? How do you balance tough love with empathy? And I think they can coexist. It's not one or the other. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you've just mailed it in for the last year. So now you're having some tough love on yourself. Like, hey, stop being a little bitch.
What are you doing,
stop.
buddy?
This is gross, dude.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah. Yep.
Stop.
Yep. And by the way, on the subject of flexible dieting, I'm so happy you brought that up. There's a reason that I only did 2 days without desserts and then gave myself macro targets starting yesterday. And that is because actual flexible dieting is the best diet approach. Not eliminating XYZ food groups indefinitely is not sustainable. And so that's why last night I had a 90 calorie sherbet cup before bed that fit my intake for the day, because that is what in the research and practical experience and everything has created the best physical and psychological long-term outcomes for the greatest number of people.
I do think there's something to be said for short-term removal of whatever quote-unquote trigger foods you might have, though. In the same way, like sometimes there's something to be said for removing caffeine. Sometimes there's something to be said for removing highly palatable foods or super sugary foods, like remove them,
or just
like, especially
certain highly palatable foods that are trigger foods for you.
Yeah, remove them for a little bit, not forever, but oftentimes if you take it out for, it could be 2 days like you did, or it could be a week or a month. When you come back to it, sometimes, not all the times, but sometimes it'll be like, oh, like this happens with caffeine for sure. But if you do it with sweet food, sometimes you come back like, oh my gosh, that was way sweeter. You had almost like diluted it. You became desensitized to it,
like a drug.
So then you come back to it and you're like, oh, you know what? I don't need as much as I was having before. Like that's plenty.
Yeah, 100%. You've reset your baseline of pleasure.
Yeah.
Right? You hedonically adapted to needing all these Oreos every single day to feel normal. Classic, withdrawal symptoms from cocaine, you're below baseline, and then you get back up to baseline, and then, you go to the club again and start doing blow with your buddies, and you don't need as much to get high.
Yeah.
And I'm speaking from research on that. I'm speaking Dr. Anna Lemke. That's fortunately was never my vice. So that's a scary one.
Blow?
Yeah, blow's a scary one.
Especially nowadays.
Yeah. But even because of fentanyl and stuff?
Yeah, because of the fentanyl, yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Obviously that sudden death from drug intake is a risk and not good. Yeah. But even without it, it's very bad.
Even without it, it's really bad. But it's just now it's crazy. The fentanyl crisis is really fucking
I just don't
scary.
want someone to be like, nah, my drug dealer gives me the pure Coke, so I'm good. I don't need to stop. Like,
no, it's all bad. It's all bad.
Yeah.
I objectively, the pure stuff would be better than stuff laced with fentanyl. Objectively,
True.
right?
True.
But yeah, it's all bad.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of there's an amazing Michael Scott quote about being like, man, back in the 90s, man, did we or the 80s, man, did we push paper?
What is push paper?
It's a paper company. Like they were sold paper, so like they were doing coke and just like selling a lot of paper because they were doing a lot of coke.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, not good. It's bad. It's terrible for you. But I think nowadays it's so much scarier. Do you know anyone or do you know anyone who knows anyone who's died from fentanyl?
Not for certain, but potentially, yeah. Kid I graduated high school with.
I don't know anyone who doesn't know at least one person. One of my college friends directly, like he did, and then there's at least one woman in the inner circle, her son.
Oh man.
It's crazy, and I think it's like, I don't quote me on this, but I think it's about 300 people a day.
No way.
That might be wrong.
In the U.S. or worldwide?
In the U.S.
200 in 2022. 200 people died each day in the United States.
Dude, isn't that insane?
Yeah, 2023, 192 deaths per day. Man,
that's like a full airplane full of people every day.
It's very sad.
Yeah, it's a fucking problem.
Yeah, not good at all. My analogy took us off course here, but 100% if you can eliminate trigger foods for a period of time, you're going to reset your baseline, and it's going to be easier to be adherent. It's for most people, it's very likely going to be easier to adhere when you add them back in.
Yeah.
On the same subject, clearly this is where my mind has been the last few days. I just wrote, healthy food tastes better in a deficit / when you're actually hungry.
That's true.
Oh, dude. Did you ever, like in your heyday of being lean, college, wrestling, any of those eras, were you ever into pickles?
Oh, yeah. Massive.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're like 5 calories for a huge pickle. And like
the sodium, because you're probably, when you're eating like healthy, you're just not eating as much salt as you probably should when you're in an extreme deficit and eating mostly healthy food choices.
And it quenches hunger. Like it's that sour-ish, like vinegary taste that like, okay, if I wanted something sweet, well, I definitely don't want something sweet now. It's just like, it was one of those old school things that now people would be like, well, that's a disordered eating habit. Where like, it's like, people are like, oh, you're hungry? Eat a pickle. It's like, I'll have a whole jar of pickles and then I feel pretty full. And yeah, dude, I used to be super into pickles. That's actually how one of the ways I'll be like, if I see someone on social media who's really lean and then they show that they're eating pickles a lot, I'm like, oh yeah, they're hungry.
Yeah. Well, did you ever have, so I never ate pickles for volume, for fullness, but when I was really lean, I loved the bread and butter pickles that have, they have like 6 or 7 grams of sugar per serving and probably like 30 calories a serving. I would put like 2 or 3 of those servings on my sandwiches. And that just like the little bit of sugar plus sodium combination just hits the spot.
Yeah. Super good.
One of the great joys in life when you feel like you're about to have a terrible workout and it ends up being absolutely world class. I don't know if it's one of the great joys in life. I was really feeling that workout apparently, but it's such a testament to like do what you're supposed to do even when you don't feel like doing it, because long run, you're going to see better outcomes. Same with making content. Oh, you are trying to get your business off the ground. You don't feel like making content? Too bad. You're making content.
Have you been working out even when your sleep's been shit?
Yeah.
There we go. You just been fucking doing it.
Yeah, but what else am I going to do? Not work out?
That's exactly right.
I don't know if I want to go down this rabbit hole. I want you to be as open-minded and objective as possible about what I'm about to say.
I feel like I'm a pretty open-minded dude.
I feel like you are too. But I really want you to like really be open-minded on this one.
I want you to really open your mind on this one. Okay, let's hear it.
And I consumed almost no content on this, but I just literally, remember we were talking about daydreaming? And then I told you some examples of daydreaming and you're like, that's just thinking. And I was like, oh yeah. You're right.
Was that on the podcast?
No, that was just on the call. And I did this recently, so it wasn't daydreaming, it was just thinking. And I don't necessarily want an answer because I think I know what you could say here that's like, well, this is why this happened. But I want you to go a layer deeper than your initial instinct here.
Man, I feel like you're really building this up for me to have quite the reaction, and it's not going to go the way you or anyone wants. All right, let's see.
I'm trying to think of an analogy to open.
You want to grok it?
No. I'm confused as to how the entire evidence-based fitness community got stuck in this position where they're glorifying seed oils as this amazingly healthy source of fat. I'm very confused because based on all of the research, all of the evidence, all of the nutrition courses I ever took, everything I ever knew, there's a hierarchy of healthy fats with monounsaturated fats being the king.
MUFAs?
And with omega-3 polyunsaturated fats being the queen, with a higher omega-3 to omega-6 polyunsaturated fat ratio being better than a lower ratio between those two polyunsaturated fats, with saturated fats being less healthy than all of the above, although fine in certain quantities, and with trans fats like kind of being at the end of like, let's try and avoid those.
Don't eat those.
Somehow, I just, and maybe it's because of what's going on in politics and yada yada, but somehow when I see anything about seed oils, it's very smart people talking about how great seed oils are in like citing like 1 or 2 or 3 studies about the benefits of seed oils. Almost because they need to stand in opposition of the carnivore bros who are like saturated fat and meat only is incredible for your health, and seed oils are the devil and they're awful. And then these like smart like science people had to jump and be like, no, seed oils aren't awful. They have this benefit, this benefit, this benefit, this benefit. But in all of that discussion, we seem to have lost our way that monounsaturated fats and omega-3 polyunsaturated fats are both way healthier than seed oils. And even if I look at, like I was at your house recently, big avocado guy, like big olive oil guy. These are great sources of monounsaturated fats. Big salmon guy. Like that's your favorite protein source. So clearly you're a big omega-3 polyunsaturated fat guy. You're a big monounsaturated fat guy. I'm just confused as to how all these geniuses who I really love and respect, kingpins of the industry, are like staking their life on omega-6 fatty acids that are like not bad, but I don't know. I feel like that energy should be going into promoting the real healthy fats instead of saying these like so-so fats are actually really not bad at all. And yes, we don't want to damage people's relationship with, like, I understand how many routes we can take to defend this behavior. I just think we need to go back to first principles and put the real healthy fats at the top of the totem pole.
Dude, number one, that's an amazing clip right there. That's going to be sick.
Okay.
Number two, I completely agree with you. I'm also like, keep in mind, forefront of my mind of my thoughts are, all right, how can I keep an open mind to this, and how can I have a real reaction? So I'm trying to like also get the reaction that you want, but also I completely agree with you. Here's what I think, and I'm hoping I'm giving you what you want. I think there's no question that the like monounsaturated fats are king. We know that. I think there are two major things happening. Number one is you have the very loud carnivore bros, saturated fat is king, seed oils are the devil, are being super, super loud. So then you have these very smart people on our quote unquote side who are trying to defend it. And what's happening is, as they're defending it, and they started off just by saying, listen, they're not bad for you. I wouldn't recommend making them your sole source, but they're not bad for you. That started off with that, and then they started getting really good engagement. They started, like, people started being like, for example, I had Ben Carpenter on my podcast, and he spoke a lot about seed oils. I put seed oils and maha in the title because that's what we spoke about. Mm-hmm. But when I say this podcast went absolutely viral, like it was featured front page Spotify, like wow. Now it's the second most downloaded podcast. John Deloney is the first, but like virality beyond belief on these two topics, like seed oils, maha type stuff.
Okay.
So I think that they started off basically doing what you said, but then with the virality of the topic and getting insane engagement, then they're like, well, let me go deeper on it now. And I think that's what it has sort of morphed into.
Okay.
Not necessarily because in their logical recommendations, in their logical brain, based on, they're not saying we need more seed oils. I think it's because they're like, oh, this is getting a lot of traction. Let's talk about it a lot more. And then that's what it has morphed into. And then they're like, and all the research shows that there's actually health benefits to it and da-da-da-da-da. It's like, yeah, like, I get it. I know what you're saying. But also, like, what you should be doing is using that to lead into, but by the way, if we want to talk about the best options, we should be having more salmon. We should be having more avocado. We should be having more olives and olive oil. Like, that should be the discussion, but it's not going there because for any number of reasons, but I think engagement is the main reason we're seeing what we're seeing.
Jordan, in 227 episodes, you just gave the best answer you've ever given, because audience capture among people talking about seed oils was not even remotely on my radar as far as a potential reason as to why what is happening is happening. So thank you.
Good.
It wasn't even on my radar. Makes total sense. You see audience capture work in so many ways where people talk about a certain thing, it gets great engagement. So you talk about that thing more, it gets even better engagement, makes sense for business. Now I understand it better.
That's what I would imagine, especially in today's social media economy where like people are fighting to figure out what posts are going to do well, what topics are going to do well. It's like, that's what I would imagine.
Thank you. Great answer. I'm going to start hammering the real kingpins of healthy fats here on this podcast and in my own diet.
What's your favorite source of these kingpins?
Salmon for omega-3. I'm right there with you. For the monounsaturated fats, almonds. I love almonds, which have quite a bit of monounsaturated fat. I also like olive oil. I'm not dipping bread in olive oil on the daily, but maybe I'll get there at some point. Those are at the top of my list. Those are the ones that I'm consuming. I've been having almonds for breakfast basically every day for probably 5 years at this point, with protein shake and almonds are like kind of the staples.
How many almonds?
One serving, 28.
28.
Yeah. 15 grams of fat. They're not just they're not raw almonds. They're different flavors. And so you get a couple grams of carbs in there and a few grams of protein, but
Got to enjoy them.
yeah, you got to live a little, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You like the wasabi ones?
I love the wasabi ones.
Yeah. I like the
smokehouse ones.
Yeah, smokehouse ones are really good.
I like the honey roasted ones too much that I don't eat those because honestly, I just realized that's a trigger food.
You just don't stop.
I'm not eating 28 of those. I'll eat those instead of a dessert.
Where's your total fat at in your macros?
You want to hear? People are going to be pissed at these macros after. If
I
you
noticed
listen
you
to this
didn't
whole
say
episode,
how many earlier in the show you're like more than I was before, but still at least a pound a week, and you didn't say where your macros are at. Like, you don't need to tell all your macros if you don't want, but I am interested where your fat is.
I'll tell you every macro I've ever eaten in my whole. Dude, there's no holding back here. 150 protein, my training day, and by the way, I have always found. This is unnecessary for fat loss outcomes and muscle retention outcomes, etc. I have found psychological benefits to carb cycling, having a higher carb and a lower carb, or in higher carb and moderate carb day, however you want to spin it, and a higher and lower fat day, because it gives you more variety in your foods. And so while this is not necessary, it's what I have always found to work best. My training day is 150 protein, 400 carb, 70 fat for 2830 cals. Assuming I'm getting like 10K steps in. And like we talked about, doing some movement on rest days. And then my rest day is 150 protein, 250 carb, 90 fat for 2410 cals.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a good amount of fat too. That gives you a lot of leeway. Right, because I know like some protocols go super low fat, it just makes it really difficult. But that's a substantial amount of fat.
It limits your food choices so much. When I have done that in the past, I've just gone over my fats and been okay with it. But that doesn't work for everyone. Like some people, you give them very limited dietary fat, they miss that target, and then it can snowball from there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm getting some fats in. You getting some fats in these days? I know you love olives. I know you love olive oil.
A lot of olives, a lot of olive oil, a lot of salmon, a lot of avocado. Yeah, I have a significant amount of fat in my diet. I also feel like it's great for my skin.
Skin is looking good.
Thanks, bro. Yeah, I feel like it's good for my skin. I feel like it's good for overall energy. I feel like personally I do better with like a 33 type macros, proteins, carbs, fat. So rather than it being super high carb or low fat or super high fat and low carb, it's like everything is relatively even for me. It's where I tend to feel the best.
Nice.
Yeah. It's also so much easier.
That's awesome.
When I worked with Martin Birkin, did I ever tell you my protein was at like
in the twos, right?
Yeah, it was in the twos.
And you weighed like $130?
Dude, I got to 119.
Wow.
Yeah, but my fats were so low. I think my fat was like, it was like between 35 and 42 or something.
Bro, when I was the leanest I've ever been, I weighed 160. Maybe when I probably got less, I was less than 160 at the end of the cut, but my training day fat was at 45.
Yeah, dude, crazy. Like felt horrible.
Yeah. The benefit is, which I understand, depending on the type of strength training you're doing, is the training performance benefits from the added carbs.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Not for everyone. Depends on how much volume you're doing. Depends on many factors, but probably not enough to justify the limitations in food choices, right? It's like, oh, I can't even have salmon. I need to have chicken breast again because my fats are at 35. This is ridiculous.
But even just like walking to the gym from the parking lot, you're exhausted. And like, yeah, you've got a set of 5 in you. And like your strength might be maintained. But in general life, like walking and the energy that you have is just, ugh. I felt so bad.
Yeah. Some of that too was the size of the deficit, I'm sure, how lean you were.
Yeah. I'm sure that was the majority of it, realistically.
Yeah. But look, we got into this by talking about the hierarchy of healthy fats. It's important to get essential fatty acids in your diet. You need them to live.
Do you use olive oil?
Yeah.
Use a spray olive oil?
I mean, that's an insignificant source of olive oil, right?
Yeah.
Because when I'm spraying it, even though there is some fat, it's not zero like it says on the can with 500 servings in a quarter-second spray, whatever. The majority of my olive oil comes from, I use it when I roast vegetables. I'm trying to think because I only really make one meal. Mike's Beef Special. That's like, if we're having dinner and I'm cooking, we're having beef special with asparagus.
So you call it Mike's Beef Special?
I just call it beef special, but it's implied that it's mine.
Is this from your family's cow?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. But my wife uses olive oil in basically every salad dressing. Olive oil will be the base of the dressing, or she just puts olive oil on the salad that we have, like the side salad, or we'll have a salad with a bunch of stuff in it, including some protein. And so those are the main.
Do you know if your cow was grain finished or grass?
I don't know. No, that wasn't.
Because I've been looking into it a little bit more. I spoke with Dr. Alan Bacon about it a lot. And then as I've been looking into it, it's really interesting. I've actually found, just from an anecdotal perspective, most people you have the people who swear by grass finished, right? They're grass fed, like, I love it. But when you have the people who are like, yeah, I've done both, and they're open-minded to both, they all say grain finished tastes better.
Interesting.
Which is, I found that because usually the people who are like super grass fed is best, that's what you need, they'll obviously say it tastes better. But when I've looked at the people who've done both and who are like, yeah, no, they're both fine, but grain finished tastes better, I found grass finished or grass fed, apparently the people say it's a little bit chewier.
Interesting.
It's not as palatable.
I'm guessing grain finished because otherwise it would have been marketed as grass finished.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And it would have been a selling point. And the point of going in on the cow was like financial was a big piece of it, right?
Yeah.
If you're buying a cow, the price per pound of meat for every cut of meat is significantly cheaper, as well as just knowing the farm it came from and like humanely raised is like there's an element of that. But yeah, I'm not sure.
Dude, that was a great episode. Thank you everyone for listening. If you want to apply to join the mentorship, no nonsense. $500 off. If you are accepted, we would love to have you. And if you are denied, try again next year. And that's it. Have a wonderful week. We'll talk to you soon.
See you next week.